These are the top 3 meta weapons to use in Black Ops 7 ranked play. In a brand new SMG, the NPC has been added, and you'll want to know the best classes to use, so stay tuned for those. So like and subscribe if this video helps you out. And class number 1 is the brand new NPC. This gun is insane and can kill very fast up close. The only problem is its recoil at range, which we're about to work on right here. Starting with the muzzle, we're going to use the KNS compensator strictly for vertical recoil control. Again, the reasoning behind that being how high the recoil is on this gun. You need all the help that you can get, and this KNS compensator is the best way to do so. For the barrel, we're going to use the damage range barrel, the 14.5 VAS. The reason that we're doing that is to bump up that close damage range, the one that gets the gun killing as fast as possible. And the best way to do that is going to be, again, with this damage range barrel. There are some differences that we'll talk about here in a little bit with potential upcoming CDL GAs. Stay tuned for those, but for now, while you can rock the damage barrel, you should. That's why we're going over the OP class first, which is this one. Next, for the underbarrel, we're going to use the Flow Guard foregrip because this one helps with horizontal recoil control, sprinting, movement speed, and movement speed. This gun is already fast enough, but if you can increase that speed as well as help with horizontal recoil control, you might as well. So we're sticking with that for the underbarrel. Up next, for the rear grip, we're going to do the quick shift grip, pretty much the quick draw grip for ADS speed and jumping aim down sight speed. I think it's called the quick arm that we use with the Dravk. And then the last attachment, the stock, is going to be the K1 pedal stock for aim walking movement speed, so that you can strafe as much as you can, work on that rotational aim assist, and then go from there. This gun is insane. Try this out while you can. And in case you need the rest of the perks and attachments here, I run Tech Mask and Lightweight with Smoke and a Simtex trophy system, and then the pistol. You can't run attachments on any of those, but this is what my class looks like. Sometimes I'll swap out the Simtex for a frag grenade on like Colossus Hardpoint just for the break off nades. Other than that, I'm mainly rocking the Simtex. If you're watching this video soon after I release it, then this is the class that you'll be able to use, and you should use it. However, in an upcoming update, depending on what the CDL's GA, all of these attachments might not be available to you. What they're testing right now, it seems to be only the bullet velocity barrel, no muzzles or any attachments that can improve the recoil control, so you'd have to use the ported comp. This underbarrel you can't use because it helps with horizontal recoil control, so likely we'd swap to the quick step foregrip. From there, we would maybe stay with a quick arm grip and then this stock right here. This one is a temporary GA friendly one in case they decide to ban these attachments later on. This might be the class that works best for you. However, in the meantime, this is the class that I'm using simply because it's better, and you should too if you're able to. And now with class number 1 out of the way, let's move on to class number 2, which is the M15. Y'all know the M15, it shreds at all ranges. It's a gross AR, but there's 2 different classes that I want to go over with you today for the M15 because I've been having a lot of fun messing around with it. For the optic, we're going to start with the Lethal Tools ELO. By the way, the first class that we're going over right now is the more consistent, like long range AR that I prefer. And then the second one will be a little bit different. You'll see what I mean. For the barrel, we're going to use the 16.5 Fusion barrel for damage range and bullet velocity. We're going to skip over the underbarrel and skip over the magazine. Some people use the quick step foregrip or even the EAM steady grip. Both are good options, but I actually like to skip over to the rear grip, do the Paragrind grip for aim down sight speed and jumping aim down sight speed. The stock, we're going to use the Wander stock for aim walking movement speed. And then the last attachment here under the fire mods is actually going to be buffer springs for horizontal and vertical recoil control. This is the class that I've been most consistent with for the longest time, and I feel pretty good with this one. I feel like I'm able to beam long range. Like, I'm just thinking exposure from top solar to the other side of top solar. I actually feel confident challenging this gunfight with these attachments. But there has been a new M15 class that a lot of people have been messing with previously. Some people will take off the barrel entirely because they feel like it has no impact on the time to kill on the different CDL maps and modes. I think this part might be a little bit subjective, a little bit personal preference, but if you're trying to use a fast and mobile AR, this is the one to use. So we're going to swap over to the underbarrel. For this one, we're going to use that quick step foregrip that we were talking about earlier because it helps with aim walking movement speed and hip fire movement speed, overall bumping up the mobility of this weapon. On top of that, for the rear grip, we're going back to the Paragrind grip for that aim down sight speed and jumping aim down sight speed. For the stock, we're going to stick with the Wander stock, and then we're going to go to the fire mods and actually keep the buffer springs on for this one too. So the main difference is taking off the barrel and putting on an underbarrel instead, sacrificing bullet velocity and damage range for an increase in mobility. And honestly, it still feels great, even challenging the more long range gunfights. The only problem is a little bit of consistency missing out on the damage range and bullet velocity that I feel personally, but I realize that I'm making that sacrifice when I pull this class out. So like I said, I'm looking more so for mobility and movement with this build. And now with class number 2 out of the way, let's move on to class number 3, which is the Dravk 45. This has been kind of a fun SMG to use in Black Ops 7. I'm admittedly more excited for the NPC, but if you prefer a more accurate and less powerful sub, the Dravk is going to be for you. And here's the best class for it. You might already know it, but it's the Hawker Hybrid 45 to increase the mobility. The thing about the Dravk is it's super accurate and it's powerful, but it's not very mobile. So all these attachments we're using are to either bump up the damage range like we are with this barrel right here, or with a muzzle is to improve things like the slide and dive to fire speed and the hip fire spread. Just make this gun feel a little more mobile and a little more powerful in close range. Up next for the rear grip, we're going to use the quick arm grip for aim down sight speed, and the stock will be next. We're going to use the serval stock for aim walking movement speed, and then the very last attachment is going to be the overpressured ammunition for bullet velocity and damage range. And there you have it. These are the top 3 meta classes for Black Ops 7 ranked play right now. Like and subscribe if this helped you out, and I'll catch you next time at lunchtime.